Outsiders might not be the next album that we're getting. If you guys have been watching the channel for a bit now, we've just been doing a lot of theories and speculating on possible albums that could be coming in the future, and the number one thing is that everyone's thinking at least is Outsiders. And don't get me wrong, this could 100% still be the next album that they release for Juice this year, but I just want to put out a theory that it might not be. Real quick before we get into this video, make sure to go check out my new second channel. We're almost at 300 subscribers. If you guys want, link to it's in the description down below. It's Complex Edits. I upload other sorts of videos on there, so if you want to check that out, links in the description down below. Alright, with that being said, let's get on into this. Kid Light, one of my sources over on Twitter, I've shouted him out in a couple videos in the past, link to his Twitter will be in the description down below, actually gave me some theory topics and just something to talk about for this video. Now, just keep in mind that this stuff is just a theory, so we don't know for sure if anything's real. Like I said, Outsiders could still come, but I want to get into what this next album could possibly be if it's not Outsiders. And even if it is Outsiders, there's still something more that they might be doing with that album. So basically, some stuff Kid Light told me was that the next album name might not be Outsiders. Alright, so according to this theory, Outsiders isn't the next album we're getting. That album will still be coming, but it'll either be the next or the very last Juice album we'll ever get. So basically how this theory works is that if we are getting the doc late 2021, like Bibby said, something like that earlier this year, or like late 2020, if we end up getting the documentary later this year, then Bad Boy could be kind of promo for this next upcoming album or just kind of setting up for the doc. The next album that we get could possibly be a soundtrack to the documentary we're getting, which I'm pretty sure you guys all know what a soundtrack is. It's just something that coincides with a movie, or in this case, a documentary. Now, if this was the case, I think it would work better for it to be Outsiders just to kind of go with the documentary, because in my opinion, you could literally just name the documentary like Outsiders or something like that, depending on where they're going to go with the documentary. But I just think that that'd be a cool name to showcase just kind of Juice's legacy. I would just think that that'd be a really fitting name for the documentary, but I don't think they would make it confusing by dropping an album with that name and then the documentary. And then again, a lot of people might hate on that, so it might not be the best. It's just something cool that I've thought of. But back to the theory. So yeah, this album would be a soundtrack for the documentary. And this could either be for Outsiders, and if Outsiders isn't the next album we're getting, it could be for the next album. Now, to kind of get into the theory that Kid Light gave me, the next album name could be The Party Never Ends. The only thing that sucks with this name, if they would end up doing this, is that Travis Scott got the verse where Juice actually uses this bar the most, or just like the chorus where Juice uses this, which I'm not saying No Bystanders is a bad song at all. I like that song. It just kind of sucks because that would have fit so well on an album named The Party Never Ends. But in my opinion, The Party Never Ends would have been a way more fitting name for something like Legends Never Die or just any future album in general. I think one of the worst things about that album was just the album name. I don't think that that's a terrible album name, but not for the very first album they released after Juice passed away. And I'm not just trying to constantly go back and hate on this album, because I do like all the songs on the album. But yeah, Legends Never Die would have been a way better, like, very last album name that they released for Juice if they were even going to use this, not the very first. I just would have preferred them using something like The Abyss, The Party Never Ends, or even Outsiders, just playing off of those album names rather than using something like Legends Never Die. But I'm not here to hate on Legends Never Die because I still like the songs on that album. I don't think there's bad songs on that album. I'm just not a fan of the whole situation with that. But you guys know that. Getting into this album, though, it would really fit well to kind of have Legends Never Die go into The Party Never Ends, because the outro for Legends Never Die has Juice saying something like The Party Never Ends that he said like on an Instagram Live or whatever it was. It would just be a really cool transition if you're listening to Juice's albums in order from Goodbye and Good Riddance to Death Thirst for Love to Legends Never Die and then The Party Never Ends. The only thing that sucks is The Party Never Ends would be a really cool, like, very last album because it's The Party Never Ends, right? But that also, I don't think would fit well with fans. At least, if they drop Outsiders next, then I think The Party Never Ends should be what they hold off and do for Juice's very last posthumous album. Now, if they're going to flip-flop it, I think that Outsiders should be the very last album they release, and then we end up getting The Party Never Ends right now. Now, something I don't want the remaining Outsider songs to be put on The Party Never Ends if we get this before Outsiders, or any album that we could possibly get before Outsiders. Unless there is genuinely a version of Outsiders, like Ali said, that doesn't have a single leak song to it, the Juice completely made and was ready to put out or wanted to put out, then I don't want any more of the leaked songs that we know of ending up on these other albums. Stuff like Burn and Sometimes, all those need to stay on Outsiders. They already messed with that album enough the way it is. I still think you could make an amazing album without using those songs. You obviously can. We could have had a completely different Legends Never Die album where 0 of those songs remained and it was all new 20 songs or whatever that could be. And it could be a whole new 20 songs on that album, and it would have been an amazing album either way. All I'm trying to say is Juice has plenty of songs to pick from, that whether you want it to be leaked or unleaked, that they don't need to touch the Outsider songs. But yeah, basically I just kind of want to break down this theory. Then again, just remember, this is just a theory. I'm not saying we're not getting Outsiders this year. I'm not saying that the documentary is for sure coming this year, and I'm not saying that this album is going to be a soundtrack to the documentary. This is just something that Kid Light brought to my attention that they could use very well to kind of coincide with the whole album and documentary thing. And one more thing we do have to remember is when Bad Boy finally releases, we could get something with that. We don't know if there's going to be some other album confirmation, something else, because at the time I'm making this, and at least at the time it's being uploaded, Bad Boy's not out yet, so we don't know what the overall plan with that single is. And one more thing that I do want to mention that Kid Light sent me was that, if you don't remember, if you've never seen it, the XXL Freshman interview where they talk about Legends Never Die album, how it came together, there's a timestamp at like 18:10. They ask him why that 7-second clip got released, or why they chose using that to help promote Legends Never Die. And Juice's old manager actually goes on to explain and say that they had like a 6 to 7 minute trailer for the documentary that was going to be released, and they just ended up cutting up like 7 seconds of it and using that to help promote Legends Never Die instead of releasing the full thing.
I believe was filmed by Chris Long, was shared, and it showed Juice freestyling about his addictions. Why was that important for you all to show that vulnerable side of Juice leading into the album?
I mean, for me personally, we picked that exact footage because we actually originally planned on putting out like a 6-minute piece. But instead, we sort of like narrowed it down to that one footage, because that footage was just, you know, I know you watched it, like it kind of like invoked some kind of emotion. You can kind of see where he was at, and that's why we put that out, because it sort of says, like, you know, all these months, in short form, all these months I've been working, I'm putting my pain on these beats, I'm not embarrassed, and I want y'all to hear it.
And I think the main reason for this was just to not take away from Legends Never Die, but to me that means there's a trailer for the documentary ready. So unless they're going to change something with the doc or whatever they're going to end up doing with that, in my opinion, that means that they could release that trailer at any point. It could release the same day Bad Boy releases. It could release the same day they announce the next album. It could really release any time. But yeah, that's the theory for this. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers, so if you guys are new here, please subscribe. And also, guys, I do have an Instagram. That's Complex Productions 999. Link to that's in the description down below. I also have a Twitter at Complex Discuss, and I have a SoundCloud where every single month I make a new playlist of music I'm listening to. Also listen to your guys' music and put it into a fans music playlist. So if you guys want to check out any of my social medias, links to everything are in the description down below. And thank you guys so much for just the support with this channel, my second channel, just everything. I thank you guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.